When I was a little girl, I wished for pretty things, Swan Lake tutus, and nutcrackers that really came to life. I dreamed of handsome prince who would come and carry me away on a white horse, and I wished for a real Raggedy Ann doll. As I got older, I wished for turnout, that awkward position that makes ballet dancers look like ducks. I wished for long legs and no hips. If I had been born in Russia, they'd have sent my body to Siberia, not to the Kirov where I really wanted to go. Well, given that I had short legs and long back, I wished for flexibility. I would wish every night, please God, let me just get that split. And by the way, if I could manage it on both sides, that would really be good. Oh, and in second position, if I could get my chest to the floor, that'd be good too. Why do ballerinas have to have long legs? Well, as I realized I stopped growing about 12, my wishes went on to bigger things, like my parents sending me to New York so I could see just how unworthy my body was as a ballerina. It didn't matter. I'd figure it out. Mostly I did, and although my parents didn't allow me to pack up and go to New York, I found a way to put my body to the task of dancing. I danced in anything that I could put myself into, but all I wanted to do was be a ballerina. Well, I would take Broadway if that's all I could get. I surely wasn't a candidate for the Rockettes at 5 foot, almost 3 inches. I would wish my wishes, and I would stand in the mirror and practice my acceptance speeches for the Tony Awards and for the Oscars, just in case I had to do movies. Like with Ginger Rogers. Oh, but she had long legs. Damn. But there were red shoes and long flowing dresses, so I thought I could get there. I would practice my speeches, thanking everyone that I knew who helped me climb the ladder of fame with my damn short legs. I wished and I wished on that star to lead me to stardom, for a place of my own in the spotlight. I grew up in an era of assassinations: John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, and the Vietnam War. My wishes turned to peace. I became a bit of a young activist. I wanted to express myself. I wished for a platform on which to stand and speak to the world, and dance, and shout out, "This is insane. Why are we all fighting?" I remember Martin Luther King's dream speech, and I wanted to stand on a podium and tell the world, why can't we just all get along? I wished to be able to dance for the world, telling a story of love and hope and dreams of a world where blacks and whites, Christians, Jews, Arabs, all got along. A world where Russian dancers didn't have to defect in order to experience Martha Graham, Jose Limon, and Twyla Tharp. I wished for a world where not all dancers had to look like their mentors, because maybe, just maybe, she could dance with short legs and a long back. I spent my professional life struggling to find that place where dance was conjoined with passion, not just technique, where dancers didn't fight for a place in the front or push each other in auditions, where black and white weren't divided like Alvin Ailey and the Ballet Theater of Harlem on one side of town, and the New York City Ballet and the Joffrey on the other. Can you imagine if they all came together? What a show that would be. But it wouldn't happen. Too much politics, too many opinions, too much arrogance. And little by little, even my professional wishes were assassinated, one by one, because I hated intolerance. In my 20s, I ran away from that most famous world of dance to seek that podium, a stage to make my speech, to find dancers who wanted to work together. I ran all the way to Argentina, thinking maybe it will be different there. What did I find? The famed ballet company of the Teatro Colón, the relatively new modern company of the Teatro San Martin, and tango, all separate. The theaters barely supported by the government, and tango, a world of its own, the working man's dance. each one believing that they were the expression of what dance should be. There was still fighting in the world. I arrived in the 80s during a military dictatorship and just after the Malvinas War, and saw the peace demonstrations as the country geared up for its first free elections. I watched as the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo wore their white scarves and cried for their children who were lost. Several Argentine artists tried to do musical theater and used issues from their country's politics, much as the sense that Hair became a Broadway musical in the 60s, being a statement of the affairs of this country. Here, Hair was allowed to be performed on Broadway. In Argentina, the shows were closed down. My wishes still hadn't come true. I grew up a little bit. I lost my idealism to a certain extent and fell into mainstream. I worked. Lord, I worked. I taught, I choreographed, I danced in theaters, on TV, and even in movies. But I hated what I had become. I had a child, and I even gave up dance. What wishes would my son dream? What kind of life would I give him without having a passion of my own? Then one fateful day, my life changed, and little by little, I began to dream again. I began to regain my childhood fantasies of love and hope and peace. And I even began to wish on stars again, mostly because I had no choice. If I didn't, I just might die. In my wishing, I found James Johnson in the Gotta Dance program at MUSC's Harper Student Center. I started to see people dancing who might never have had a chance to even walk into a studio in New York. They might not have had the courage, but they did here. James saw potential in everyone, anyone who had a desire to dance. And in the last 3 years, he has shown me that there is a place for dance, for people with short legs and long backs, for blacks, for whites, for Christians, Muslims, and Jews. And we are all on the podium speaking out for our way and for what we believe and for what we feel. And my son has even joined in my wishes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight is my night to tell everyone what I really want. Listen as I speak through my dance, through the words of Alanis Morissette, through the very different and wonderful bodies of our entire dance company. See the differences, feel the love and the hopes and the dreams of a world in which we could all come together. Listen and watch as some of my wishes really do come true. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the J2 Performance Group Dance Ensemble.